What is up, you guys, and welcome back once again to episode number 8 now of our poker vlog. I actually forgot to record an intro beforehand this time, so I'm working backwards and doing the intro last, but spoiler alert, we got them. We pretty much just ran like an absolute god from start to finish. Just got smashed by the deck basically the entire night. And I also tried to play hands in a very weird and tilty manner. Really tried to channel our inner Tony G.
Wow, he snap calls pretty much on the very last hand.
I'm the best! The best! Yes!
And I think we did a good job of that. So it should be a super entertaining episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
All right, you guys, at the cage here, we go ahead and buy in for $1,000. So we're in the game for $1,000. All right, you guys, getting straight into the action. We opened at $20 from Under the Gun with pocket nines, and Under the Gun 2 3-bets us to 60. She is a pretty balanced thinking player, and it now folds around to us, and obviously we put in the call. So heads up here to the flop of Queen 9-6 with 2 hearts. So we just go ahead and bank our set right away. I told you guys we ran good this session. Pretty much just started running good and just run pretty pure the whole time. So we check it over to her, and she now bets 55, about 1/3 pot. And I just put in the smooth call. I definitely could raise on this wet texture here, being there's a flush draw out there and pretty connected, a lot of straight draws possible. But I don't want her to fold a top pair hand or some other type of hand such as pocket 10s or jacks. So we just go ahead and call the 55 with plans to check raise on the turn. And the turn is perfect. It's the deuce of spades. So amazing turn card. There's $237 in the pot. We go ahead and check it over to her. And she now bets 130. And she has just over 400 behind, about 450 back behind after she bets 130. And I do contemplate raising to a size such as maybe 350 or like 320, but I almost think that just looks even scarier, even though it gives her a better price. She's a good enough player to get away from that. I think if we make a weird kind of suspicious raise, if I was to have some type of combo draw such as 10 jack of hearts or 10 king of hearts, I would just rip all in. So that is what we end up doing here. We do eventually just go all in for basically 550 effective. And she pretty quickly snap calls, and we agree to run it twice. The first river is the king of diamonds, second river is the 10 of spades, and she has king queen. So I think we made the right play to just go all in here on the turn. I think if we would have raised to like 300 something, she might have figured it out and potentially folded. So really like the way that we played this hand. All right, you guys, this next one gets a little crazy. Under the Gun opens to 20. Pretty loose, crazy, splashy, maniacal player. We go ahead and 3-bet to 70 from the cutoff, and what do we got? We're looking down at 10-4 of spades. Let's fucking go. We're getting a little buck wild. So the small blind now randomly cold calls, but it's nothing out of the ordinary. His nickname is literally Cold Call Brian. Under the Gun calls as well, so 3 ways to the flop here, and it is ace queen 10 with 2 clubs. So they both check it over to me, and yeah, this board is very good for my range. Pre-flop here being the 3-better. We also block a lot of the 2-pair hands such as ace 10 and queen 10. So I think this is a good spot to bet, so we go ahead and bet $90, about 40% pot. And small blind pretty quickly folds, and now Under the Gun calls. So heads up to the turn, and we bank it. It is the 10 of diamonds. They ain't never about to see this coming. So he checks it over, and yeah, just a dream spot here. I'm thinking he has like a weak ace or maybe a queen. So I bet 110 on the turn, about 1/3 pot, and he puts in the call. And now the river is the 5 of hearts, beautiful river. He checks, and he has about 450 behind. There's 615 in the pot. And like I said, I'm putting him on some type of weak ace, you know, such as ace 8, ace 7, ace 5, potentially a queen. And he already seems pretty leery, so I don't really think I want to go all in. I think he might get away from it. He views me as pretty solid, and he will make some big folds against me sometimes. So I eventually decide that $235 sounds like a good bet. So we bet $235, and he now goes into the tank for a bit.
Was it 35 with a 2 greens?
He does eventually put in the call, so good news for us. I think we chose a good sizing here with how long he took to call. So we scoop a nice pot in this second hand. Hand number 3, looking down at a couple of bullets. And this is not going to be the only time we get aces in this vlog. Little foreshadowing for you guys. So the action is we opened at $20 from under the gun. Under the gun, 2 calls, cutoff calls, hijack calls, and the big blind calls. So definitely not an ideal scenario here. Do not want to be going this multi-way with pocket aces, but such is life. The flop is Jack 9-9 with 2 hearts, so definitely not ideal. Someone can easily have a 9. We could bet, since we have the ace of hearts as backup, try to get value from Jack X. But like I said, it's just so easily someone could have a 9 here. We just want to pot control and see what develops. So we check, and everyone else ends up checking, so it checks through. Turn is the 5 of hearts, so now we have the flush draw as well as the overpair. We bet $35 now into 82. And now the same player from hand 1, thinking player, she thinks it over here. And eventually raises to 100, so alarm bells definitely going off right now because she's not just raising us, she is raising into 4 other people who easily could all have a 9 themselves, easily could have a flush, so alarm bells definitely going off. River is the 10 of clubs. We check it over, and she thinks for a bit, comes up with a bet size, and she does eventually bet 200. So 200 into 282 looks very value-y, and now I think holding the ace of hearts is actually kind of bad since basically all of her bluffs are going to contain the ace of hearts, like ace king with the ace of hearts, ace queen with the ace of hearts, or ace 10 with the ace of hearts. Hands such as these. Let's hear the table talk for a second here as I try to piece together what is going on.
Oh, that's so sick. So sick. I'm fucking beat somehow. That fucking 9 trapping me, trapping with the 9, checking the flop with the 9. I got that. I don't think you have. I mean, I think I might have to just give you credit here, Emily. I think I might have to just give you credit this time. I think I'm feeling kind of locked in tonight, so I don't want to just give you money. So get it.
So yeah, after tanking forever, we do eventually fold. I just couldn't really think of any bluffs, especially holding the ace of hearts, like what bluffs she could have. And it just looks so strong. She's raising into like 4 other people, so if you were bluffing in this spot, good job, you got me. Either way, I just don't think we could call here, so we ended up folding. Alright, shit starts getting weird this hand. We make it $20 from the low jack. Hijack 3-bets us to 60. Same person from last hand. I really think she just likes 3-betting us for whatever reason. Now the small blind cold calls, and we put in the call as well. So 3 ways to the flop. We got a mystery hand so far, and the flop is ace 8-6. 2 hearts out there. So we got top 2 pair here, you guys. Let's fucking go. Small blind checks.
She made it 60? I'm gonna bet 120.
And we go ahead and bet 120, 2/3 pot. Really like this bet size. The hijack now calls the 120, so I'm putting her on some type of good ace or some type of draw, some type of flush draw. So now it is on the small blind, and he pretty quickly goes all in for 950. And we don't even really think too much. We just snap rip ourselves. Looking back, I guess we could have delayed a little bit. Maybe. No, never mind. Hijack's just never calling. They're just going to fold anyway. So whatever. We just rip it in. We're not even thinking about, not even thinking about this. I have the nuts here, basically. This guy's pretty crazy, too. Definitely a loose, splashy player. So 2,205 in the pot. Got ourselves a big one here, and we agree to run it twice. First turn in river is 3 of spades, 9 of spades. I'm trying to dodge that heart. I think hearts are going to be very bad for us. Second turn in river is the 4 of spades and the 9 of diamonds. So we do avoid the hearts. He says he missed. Let's fucking go. Monster pot coming our way. So yeah, super nice to win that one and not even have to chop. Super clean living. All right, we got the button straddle on this hand. Small blind folds, big blind folds, and we open to $35 from under the gun with pocket queens. Folds around to the button straddle who calls. So heads up here to the flop, $77 in the pot. Queen 7-4 with 2 spades, so top set. Holy shit, we're running good. So we bet 30 and he pretty much snap calls. Not too much to say. I mean, yeah, we have top set. If it was a rainbow flop, we could consider sometimes checking here because we would just have the board so locked up. But with those spades out there, we definitely want to bet. But I don't want to blast huge, so I still want to keep them in there. So we bet $30, and he pretty much snap calls. 137 now in the pot on the turn. 9 of diamonds. So coming up with a sizing here, I think about 2/3 pot would be the perfect size. But since we just have this board so locked up and we're kind of blocking a lot of the stuff he can continue with, such as top pair, we decide to bet $70 here. This also leaves a door open where he could potentially even raise sometimes. Whereas if we did bet like 120, he would probably just always call with his draws. The river is now the 4 of diamonds. So yeah, we just bowed up. Easy life. No spade, no straight card, just a nice little boat for us. So there's 277 in the pot. Now I want to polarize a bit and size up. I don't want to overbet because it's so hard for him to have something really strong, but I definitely do want to polarize here and make it look like we missed our draw. So I decided to bet 255, just a hair under pot. And he now goes into the tank for a bit. And this is the same guy from the ace-8 hand and the 10-4 hand actually. So we have had his number tonight, so he is definitely getting a little tilted.
I don't think I can use every one, but I have a feeling I'm going to. You can always come back and play tomorrow at some point. This is not looking like my night.
And he does eventually call, and we show him the bad news. So another nice pot going our way. $787 pot. So nice win there for us with pocket queens. Got to defend our straddle here. We straddle under the gun. Crazy Holmes makes it 25 from the low jack. So when it folds around to us, we defend. Not folding this hand to Crazy Holmes. If it was some super tight knit player, yeah, you can just pitch Queen 8 offsuit, even for 20, even though it's only 2.5x open. If it was a super nitty or OMC type player, then yeah, you're probably just burning money. But against Crazy Holmes, we have an above average hand, snap call. So on the flop here, it is 10-10-8 rainbow. So we check it over and he bets 40. Obviously we're never going anywhere, so we put in the call. 137 in the pot on the turn, and it's a brick, 3 of diamonds. We check, and he pretty quickly checks back now, so I don't think he has a 10 at this point. I don't think he has much. And on this river, we bank our queen, so I'm just going to lead out and bet in case he has an 8 himself. Want to get value from that now. So we bet 55, and he calls. He gets annoyed, and yeah, we take some of Crazy Holmes' money here. The only hand we play against him today. Unfortunately, he kind of stayed out of our way. Whole lot going on pre-flop this hand. So button straddle is on, small blind calls, big blind folds. We go ahead and put in the 10 from the low jack with King 9 of hearts. Very playable hand. The hijack calls. The button straddle raises to 55, small blind folds, we call, and the hijack calls. So yeah, a lot going on here. It's actually 3 ways to the flop when it's all said and done. $180 in the pot. And the flop is Queen 8-5, 2 spades and 1 heart, and it ends up checking through. The turn is the 8 of hearts, giving us the second nut flush draw, and I definitely think we can bet here. We could easily have an 8. We could have a hand such as 8-7 suited, 9-8 suited, 10-8 suited. So yeah, we can rep those 8x hands. And if we get called, we still have a lot of equity. So we do bet $115 and everybody folds. All right, lock in, you guys. Got ourselves another monster hand. There's a button straddle, small blind and big blind both fold. Under the gun opens to 35, so we 3-bet to 120, just under 4x with pocket queens from early position. Now the hijack cold calls, but once again it's cold call Brian, so it's not that out of the ordinary. It's not raising too many alarm bells. It folds around to under the gun and he calls as well. Same guy from the ace-8 hand, the 10-4 hand, so he is out to get us. He is out for blood. So 3 ways to the flop. 377 in the pot already. And it is queen 9-4. Top set again with queens. Queens have been very good to us tonight. So under the gun checks, and we bet 90 here. Not really in love with this sizing. I kind of wanted to induce a raise, honestly, was my thinking. We have the board so locked up. There is a flush draw out there that I'm giving a really good price to. Nonetheless, we do decide to bet 90, and now the hijack, the cold caller, makes it 230. So let's stop and think about his range for a minute. He cold called our $120 3-bet preflop. So he could easily have a lot of draws here. He could have a hand such as 10 jack of clubs, 10 king of clubs. He could have sets. He could have pocket nines. He could have pocket fours. I don't really think he would have queen 9 suited. I guess it's possible if he's feeling really splashy. But yeah, mainly it's going to be draws or set of 9s or a set of 4s. So after he makes it 230, under the gun quickly folds. It's back on us, and now we have to decide if we want to just call here on this very connected wet board or if we want to raise. And yeah, I want to keep him in there. It's already going to be a huge pot if we just call, and we can decide what to do on the turn. So I decide to just call the 230. Heads up to the turn, 837 in the pot. And it's the king of spades. So not the worst turn card, not the best. 10 jack does get there. And trying to figure out the best course of action here. I don't really want to check and allow him to realize his equity with his club draws. And if he somehow has a hand such as, well, king queen now would be 2 pair. I don't think he would check that. He would probably bet. If he somehow had like ace queen that he raised with on the flop, which is hard, we double block that. But yeah, I don't want to let him realize his equity if he has some type of club draw. I don't really think we can go wrong betting here and just building this pot. He has about 1150 on the turn. So I eventually decide to bet $370, just under half pot. It's going to be setting up a nice river shove for us, basically. If he has 10 jack, good job. You're just going to get my money, whatever. Going to go broke anyway. So we bet 370. So he thinks it over for a few seconds and then decides to put in the call. So going to be shoving basically every river. Even if it's a club, we're going to be shoving at this point, pretty much. There's 1577 in the pot on the river, and the river is the 8 of spades. So yeah, definitely a very nice river here. Jack 10 was already a straight, so it doesn't really change anything. So we move all in for 780 effective. That's what he has back, and he snaps it off with pocket fours.
Set, yeah. Set of queens. Can you at least get my face in there? Holy shit, dude. This is fucking crazy. Holy shit.
I'm sure you had that or set of kings.
Holy shit.
Absolute cooler, set over set. I was thinking he easily could have had a set, so we are going to scoop a monster pot over $3,100. Really could not have asked for a better run out. Straddle is on this hand. We straddle $10 under the gun, and under the gun 2 makes it 35. This guy is a solid thinking reg. We got the Ocho Cinco though suited. We ain't never folding. 8-5 of diamonds. So we call 35 and we're heads up to the flop. The flop is 10-7 deuce rainbow. There is a diamond out there, so we got a lot of backdoor stuff going on. We check, and under the gun 2 bets 30. I think it'd just be too weak to give up now for this bet size. We have too much backdoor potential, so we call $30. 137 in the pot on the turn, and it's the 3 of hearts, complete brick. We check, and he pretty quickly checks back. So definitely think he's pretty weak here. I think he has some type of high card hand, some type of ace high hand. The river is the 6 of clubs, and this card is very good for our range when we defend our straddle. We can have all kinds of straights and 2 pairs here and just ton of stuff we can have here. So this is an amazing card for us to bluff. We also have the straight blocker with our 8. 5's also a good card to have. So we bet 95 and he snap folds. A lot of shit going on this hand again. Lots of pre-flop action. So there's a straddle under the gun to 10. Early position calls, middle position calls. Cutoff makes it 50. We decide to call on the button here with Jack 9 of hearts. Perfect hand to see a flop with in position. Small blind calls, big blind folds, straddle folds, early position calls, and middle position calls. So yeah, a lot going on here. It's going to be 5 ways to the flop, 265 in the pot, and it is 966 rainbow. So we have top pair, decent kicker. So when it checks over to us, I'm feeling myself. I go ahead and bet 65. I'm pretty sure I have the best hand here. If I wasn't playing my A game, I might end up just checking this, which I think is not optimal. The way that everyone pretty much snap check on this flop, I don't think anyone has a 6. And I want some protection for my hand. So we do bet 65, which I like. We don't need to bet huge. Then we only get called by better. And only the small blind ends up calling, the rest fold. So heads up to the turn. The turn is the 7 of spades. Puts a flush draw out there, $395 in the pot. Small blind checks it over to us. Considering if I should bet, it's definitely getting thin now. We definitely want to pot control at this point, so we check it back. River is the 5 of hearts, puts a 4-liner to his straight out there. Praying that he checks now so we can just check this back and win. There's 395 in the pot, so yeah, there's already a decent sized pot. We're happy to just take that down. So after contemplating for a while, they eventually check. We snap check it back, and we are good. We take it down. All right, having a little fun this hand. New boot goofing with the 9-3 of spades. There's a straddle under the gun. We raise to 30 from middle position. Big blind and straddle both call. Flop is queen 8 deuce with 2 spades. So we got the flush draw. They both check. We bet 70. They both snap fold. Easy game. Thank you. Come again. We are just on an absolute tear here, you guys. Just running over the table. So let's keep it going. Just when you think it couldn't get any better, we look down at pocket aces once again. Couple of red aces. So a lot of pre-flop shit going on once again. Early position limps. Low jack makes it 30. Hijack calls. Cutoff calls. And we are in the big blind here, and we make it 130. Definitely could have sized up more being out of position, but I want to incentivize these people to call. I don't want to scare them away. So we make it 130. Early position folds, low jack folds, hijack calls the 130, and now the cutoff goes all in for 450. What the fuck is going on? I don't know, but I love it. So after she goes all in for 450 unexpectedly, it's back on us. So we do the only thing that we can do. We reshove. Hijack does eventually call. They have 370 more. So 3-way all in pre-flop, 1270 in the pot. And we do agree to run it twice. So I don't know what's going on at this point. They're asking me if I got a pair. They're asking what I got. I just say I got a good hand. I'm kind of superstitious. I don't like to tell people exactly what I have. If you don't like it, sorry. You're going to see what I have at Showdown, or I'm going to muck. So if we can hold up and win this, that is just going to be absolutely insane. That's going to be 2 more people that we just eliminate, essentially. The hijack is the same guy from the 10-4 hand, the ace-8 hand, pocket queens hand. So he is definitely trying to get some revenge. So the first board, queen 4 3 ace 4. Don't have to worry about shit on that board. Top boat. Other board, 9 5 deuce 8 6. We got the rockets. We obviously won that bottom board closer to us. And yeah, she had ace jack and he had pocket 2. So he does hit a 2 on that other board. So me and him are going to end up chopping up the cutoffs for 50. A little unfortunate we couldn't scoop the whole thing, but you can't really complain when you're running like absolute Jesus. Here's another kind of weird, goofy hand for you guys. We opened at $20 from the cutoff with 9-5 of diamonds, the old Dolly Parton special. Only the small blind calls, so heads up to the flop. 47 in the pot, and it is Jack 10 deuce with 2 hearts, 1 club. So when he checks, I go ahead and bet 25, trying to fold out lower pocket pairs such as 3s through 5s or weak ace-x or king-x type hands. But after we bet 25, he pretty much snap calls. 97 in the pot on the turn, and it is the queen of clubs. So this is a very good card for us to continue betting. We pick up a open-ended straight draw, and it's just a very good card for our range. We could easily have ace king, ace queen, pocket queens. So when he checks, we continue firing here, and we bet $70, basically 2/3 pot, and he pretty quickly snap calls and actually checks dark. So he checks dark on the turn, which will be crucial for this hand because the river is the 4 of hearts. So yeah, he is already checked dark. So I think we have to bet now. I mean, we got 9 high, we have a straight blocker, and since he checked in the dark on the turn, I don't really think he would do that with the flush draw. So looking back on this hand, I thought actually that the river was not a heart or a club and that it bricked out. I thought it was a diamond or a spade. So I was trying to come up with a bet size to kind of just get missed draws to fold out since we're unblocking both of those different flush draws. But now when I go back and review the hand, I see that the heart actually did complete, but I still don't hate the bet because like I said, since he checked in the dark on the turn, I don't really think he has a flush draw. If he had a flush draw here, I do not think he would check in the dark. Obviously he still could. This guy's a good player. He's definitely a reg, so he could do something sneaky like that, but I just don't think he would. And yeah, like I said, I have 9 high, so obviously the only way we can win is by betting. I actually like a bit of a bigger bet size since the flush completed. I like this sizing more if it bricked out. If it was like a spade or a diamond on the river, I really like this sizing. But as played, we eventually bet 115, basically half pot, and he thinks it over for a while. Eventually shows the ace of hearts and then does fold. He actually makes a comment too that if we bet bigger, he would probably call. He said it just looks so much like a value bet that he decided to fold. So our sizing did end up working out. I actually think he would have called if we bet bigger because I've seen him call with ace king high on a pretty scary board when the guy like really polarized and basically shoved for like pot or just over pot on the river. I have seen this guy get curious and call. So yeah, overall not really a big fan of this bet size on the river, but it did end up working out. Last hand of the night here, you guys, and what better way to end it off than with pocket aces. So middle position opens to 15, the button calls, and we 3-bet to 45 from the small blind. Wanted to size down a bit to keep them in the hand. The original opener folds and then the button calls, so kind of weird. So heads up to the flop, and it is king 8-5 with 2 clubs and 1 heart. So pretty dry flop overall. There is a flush draw available, so we bet $35 and the button calls. She is a pretty solid player. I have not played a ton with her. Younger Asian lady, definitely knows what she's doing, but definitely seems on the tighter side. In the times I have played with her, pretty small sample size, probably just like a couple hours. I've honestly barely seen her play like many hands at all. Haven't really seen her get to showdown too much at all. So pretty much no reads, but definitely putting her a little bit more on the tighter side. So I bet $35 and she puts in the call pretty quickly. $180 in the pot on the turn, and it's the king of spades, and I really don't like how quickly I check here. This is terrible. Should never be snap checking here. I try to be pretty conscious about take the same amount of time for most decisions, especially post flop, but for whatever reason, I think it was toward the end of the night, I was getting tired. We snap check, which is not good, and then she bets $90. So yeah, obviously I can't go anywhere yet, and once again, I don't like how quickly I call here. I need to think for about 5 seconds here at least. So after we call on the turn, there's 360 in the pot now, and it's the Jack of Spades. Pretty much a brick. There's no straight possible. The flush brick's out, so we check, and she bets 225, and I am just hating this, because like I said, I've barely played with her, and when I have played with her, she's been very snug, but I still get the vibe that, you know, she's still a capable player. She's not just some, like, nit. She knows what she's doing. She's just a more tight, aggressive player. So this bet just really throws me through a loop, because she's basically saying that she has a king or nothing. And yeah, look down at my cards again, and I'm checking to see if I have the ace of clubs, which I do not. So at that point, I should pretty much just snap call this, I think, not having the ace of clubs, because she could easily have the ace high flush draw betting on the turn that bricked out. So yeah, this is just a snap call here. I don't really know what I was thinking. It was getting late, you know, I was up, I figured I was gonna be leaving soon, and here I am, you know, thinking it over like, man, what are you doing? What are you thinking about, bro? If this is early in the session, I'm just gonna snap call this off. If you got it, you got it. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, here you go. But yeah, it was toward the end of the night. I was getting tired. You know, I was already up a lot. I was about to leave. Maybe she knew that. Maybe she could sense that. But ultimately, we do decide to make the, what I call the Phil Hellmuth white magic fold. Basically, it's a fold that is not rooted in GTO or logic or reason. It's basically just a pure feel play. I just thought I was beat. I thought that she had a king and that she would not make this play without a king, basically. I didn't think she would do it with a missed flush draw. I've never seen how you play. I don't know how you play. And yeah, I went with my player read that she was a tight player, so I ended up folding.
Get the Jack of Clubs on the river.
OG.
And she showed ace 9 of clubs. So yeah, we get absolutely owned.
Queens or tens?
I mean, close.
When I looked at my hand to see if we had the ace of clubs, and I did not, that was the point that we should have just snap called in the hand with no reads basically on the player. I didn't have a big enough sample size to label her as a tight player, and from what I could tell, she was just a competent player, and now at least I have some more information on her. I know that she will mix it up. So yeah, in a spot like this, I'm just gonna have to default more to the GTO theory, and that's just a snap call every day of the week. Without the ace of clubs, it's like not even debatable. We just insta snap that. Even with the ace of clubs against any pretty much normal player, we still just have to call this. I mean, we got pocket aces here. I mean, it's the best starting hand. If they have a king, good job. You know, if they're a super nit and we have the ace of clubs in our hand, like maybe we could flip a coin to decide. But yeah, against any normal player, this is supposed to just be a call. Like I said, if it was early in the session, I think we would, but hey, you know, that's how it goes sometimes. You make bad folds. If you're not making bad folds ever, you're probably not folding enough. But that is going to be our final hand of the night. Don't like to end on a bad note like this, but at this point we were probably playing like our C game or worse. We went from our A game to our C game very fast here. So yeah, it was definitely time to go. One final look at our chip stack. We got that purple chip on top, an absolute mountain of blacks, and an army of greens as well. So definitely a night to remember as we head on over to the cage here to cash out. So in the game for 1,000, out for 51.90. So profit of 41.90 through 7 hours, $599 an hour. Just absolutely crushed souls basically the entire time. And I thought we played really well also, and we played a lot of hands in a very weird manner. So people were probably paying us off pretty light. We did make one terrible fold at the end there with pocket aces where we got owned, where she had ace 9 of clubs. It's honestly tempting for me to not even put a hand like that in here, but I'm trying to stay transparent about everything and not be results oriented. No matter what, just put everything in there and try to learn from my mistakes, learn from my weaknesses. So that's what we're gonna do. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great day, a great night, wherever you're at in this world, and we will see you next episode.